people start with women in tech, it's like women have a problem. The broader issue is how do we make the technology industry and profession an inclusive profession that includes people of all sorts of different backgrounds and different genders and cultures, the whole bit. Because, I'll go back to, my statement. There are no IT projects, they're all business projects, right? There are no teams that can be sort of a unilateral mindset. You need diverse experience, diverse perspectives, right? And I can give you lots of examples where products were developed by a homogeneous team that didn't represent the customer that product was for, and it failed in the marketplace. Yet when, I'll go back as early as in the early 2000s, Ford put a set of women engineers on the Ford Taurus, right? And it became the highest selling car because they had a different need understanding of their customer. At Intel, we were working on some wearables, and some of them are high-end fashion bracelets. Well, who's going to wear the fashion bracelet? Women. And so they were thinking about where on this bracelet would you put the USB charging port? And one of the women on the team said, well, I wouldn't want to plug it in anyway, because at night when I take off my jewelry, I lay it on my dresser. Why not create a wireless charging bowl or a wireless pad that I could just set it on, and then you're not destroying the beauty of the bracelet with a plug for USB charging. And so there's just a few examples of where diverse members of the team that represent your constituency and your customer base actually get you to a better outcome. And so when I think about where technology is going, I think the world demographics are changing. By 2050 in the United States, there will be no racial or ethnic majority. We will be that much of a blended community. And so why wouldn't you have blended teams?
The conversation has to become more robust. We do still have less women in technology than we'd all like. We'd like to see it, be more 50-50, et cetera. The conversation has to be more robust around not just talking about women in technology for the sake of getting more women in technology, but what are the things that we need to do to get the results we need? Part of it is great diversity programs like I know Intel has and I know Biogen has. Part of it is coming together in women in technology forums, not talking so much about the challenge of the results, but talking about the technology. And I'm being a little harsh here because there have been a lot of situations where I've been asked to speak. I know Kim's been asked to speak as well. And it's how do we get more women? How do we do that? And that's a good agenda topic, but it shouldn't be the whole discussion. The discussion should be, what are we doing as women to really drive technology forward? What are we doing to be at the front end of that curve? What are we doing, for example, like Michigan Council for Women in Technology, which I was very proud to be part of when I was back in Michigan, to bring a feeder pool to fruition and really start driving that. And again, I'll be a little harsh, and I hope my female colleagues will forgive me, little less ruminating about it and a little bit more of really continuing the great work that we've started to drive it forward and be the poster people for these great implementations and great things that we've done. So I'm being a little edgy here. I might get a little criticism for it, but I think Kim and I are saying the same thing.
And Michael, the other thing that I get asked a lot, so men have to help, right? I would not be here in my position today without having been mentored and supported by a number of men throughout my career. So there's a role for women's growth in this challenge that we're facing, but there's a role for men too. Male advocacy is really important. And so to the extent that all of the audience today, say, if you're thinking, what can I do, right? Then I would tell you it's really easy, right? Sponsor a woman, that's midway through her career, find a young woman and help encourage and keep her in technology, right? And then ask them to do the same thing for to other women. And so a couple small steps makes a huge impact when you start getting that multiplication factor.
You both are, you both are truly the poster examples of women with extraordinary careers, because you've both come up through being CIOs, obviously a very male-dominated profession focused on tech, and you have now moved into broader business roles. We hear about the seat at the table. I mean, you're both members of company boards. And so what did you each do to make this happen?
When I think about things that I would say maybe I did differently than would be considered typically female, if that's a good way to think about it, as a differentiator kind of thing. I definitely networked with a purpose and still do, right? I network with people who I think can help me, not just people who I like. And often women fall into that category, that we network with people we like. We're so busy, so you use your relationship time that we need. That, by the way, for women, relationship time fuels us. It helps make us whole. So you tend to then network with people that you like. And in business, frankly, liking somebody isn't the key criteria, right? It's can they help you get done what you need to get done? Can they help you build a partner ecosystem? Can they help you with your innovation agenda? And so again, I think that sounds a little bit harsh, but I do think that that's a differentiator. And I think I've always done that. I've networked with people that I believe had a shared view, and we're in it to help one another, sort of looking for that win-win. Whether I like them personally or not was not a criteria at the beginning. I hope through the developing of a relationship that I like them as people at the end, but it isn't always the case, and that for me is okay.
For me, it's had to, the way, the simplest thing that's helped me do it is to overcome that little voice inside that says not good enough, don't have the qualifications, et cetera. We've all heard the story of you put a job description in front of a male candidate and ask them, do you think you could do it? And they say, yeah, absolutely. And, we females do have that little voice inside that says, oh, I haven't done this. I don't have experience. I've never been on a board. I've never sat in a boardroom, et cetera, et cetera. And so for me, it's been just kind of pushing that voice back and saying, yeah, I can do it. And it just takes a little more work to figure out how to make myself comfortable with it as I build the capabilities needed in this description kind of thing. And that's the thing that I tell young women when I'm mentoring them about. The only thing that gets in your way isn't, people don't like you, they're not promoting you, there's a glass ceiling. Though some of those things could be very real, but the thing that you can control and overcome is that voice inside you that says, I don't think I can do it. And it's certainly not just women, but I know it's more so with especially young girls, aspiring to do things that appear challenging. And I think we need to move on with that. The second thing is I stopped beating myself up for not having the demeanor that a lot of people expect of me. I am passionate. I can be emotional. And, I would beat myself up driving home thinking, oh, was I a little too emotional or a little too passionate? And once I put that thing aside and started focusing on, did I deliver what we needed to do? And maybe how can I do it better? But the results were it. I got out of my own way. And we women need to get out of our own way. Again, being a little harsh, a little edgy. I hope people forgive me, but sort of embrace that and take it. I think it's really important, and it's what's helped me.
Yeah, I would say, so being your authentic self is a great attribute for any leader. And so if that means you're a little bit more passionate or you're prone to tears, so what? It's who you are. But if you have to cover, that's an official social scientist term, cover and try to pretend that you're somebody that you're not, all your energy goes into covering instead of actually solving the problem. And so I've been called a lot of things in my career. Some of them have been positive, Some of them haven't been. But frequently, and actually this has been true for a long time, people will say I'm intimidating. And for a long time that bothered me, because what they think is intimidating is when I look in the mirror, I see it as passion. I just want to get something done. And I finally just decided to own it, right? So yes, I am a little intimidating, but you know what? That's who I am. And, you have to just sort of own it. And none of us are perfect, men nor women. We all have our quirks. If you can stay authentic and open up in that way, I think you can be a lot more effective.